Women would rather die alone than die inside. Oh, this right here, y'all. This right here. So the last couple videos I've been talking about women leaving their husbands when they're old and like the gray divorce. But this is actually a reason why women need to start considering divorce, because women are literally going to die taking care of these men. I'm not kidding. There is statistics behind this of women becoming hospice wives to these men who have already like become very annoying at home, because once they're retired and if they don't have anything else going on, they just sit in the chair and watch TV and add no value to anyone's life. Not even like their own grandchildren's. They don't add the community. They don't do anything. Right? And the wife is just running around doing all this stuff. But then they get sick because they also don't take care of themselves. They don't eat well. They have addictions. They have all kinds of things. And they also resent their wives for trying to make them eat well and take care of themselves, which is so funny. Like, I used to work on film sets, and I can't tell you how many men on crew would come up and we had all this healthy food and they'd grab all these donuts and they're like, don't tell the wife. And I didn't even realize back then how selfish that is. Because when these men get sick, who's going to take care of them? The only reason women die alone is because they've already been a hospice wife to these men that don't take care of themselves. So the men don't even age. But look at this. Okay, let's look at this. So this is an advice column for the Washington Post. And this is terrifying. And this is what I want more women to pay attention to. And stop putting off and avoiding your own freedom. Because the longer you wait, the more is at stake, including your literal life. Unless this is what you want. But look what happened to this lady. I've been married for 30 years. Went to high school with my husband. We dated for 8 years before getting married. It's probably like, okay, fine. I'm not going to find anyone else. I'll go with this woman. Because we know so many men do this. Unless it was her waiting, but oftentimes not likely. This is the important part right here. He was always liberal and viewed everyone we met as equal. Oh, he's a progressive man. I never got a whiff of sexism from. Not a whiff of sexism. I find that hard to believe that he completely hid it, but I also know a lot of liberal men hide it very well. But something bothered me. This as actually should be a huge red flag for women. His stay-at-home, this is a huge red flag. His stay-at-home mother, right there, bing. This is what he's used to, a stay-at-home mom. Nothing wrong with stay-at-home moms, but I'm saying this is what he's used to. And it continues. She waited on him, his father, and his two brothers hand and foot. This, y'all, this is your fate. Pay attention. When you're dating these men and you go and meet their families, pay attention to his mom. That's your future right there, unless he has done a lot of work on himself. If she is running around serving her husband and her grown adult sons, and they just let her, never get up, never help, never unburden her, this is your fate. Hey, look at this. In college, she still changed his sheets? What? Okay, that's next level. And cooked him breakfast every morning? Okay, he must have gone to college at home. But still, okay, Mom, you are not setting this man up for success. Or at least, no, you're setting him up for a big king baby success, but his wife's gonna be screwed. I suspected he would need to adjust to life without a maid, but I never doubted that he could. And he can. It's not that he can't. It's that he won't. We really need to reframe this, y'all. Men can change. They do change. I've seen so many men change because they decided they wanted to. And they loved their wives enough to not exploit her anymore once they realize this isn't fair. But most don't want to. And it's a tough pill to swallow, y'all. Look at this. I was utterly sideswiped when we got married. I found out that he expected to do exactly nothing when he got home. He grew up to believe that he didn't need to. I talked to him, and at first he said, I'm too stressed. And, after she obviously got sick of that excuse. So then it was, well, that's just how it is. So sorry. And then finally, and this right here, I hate this man already. I guess I'm just a bad person. Yes. You are. Knowing you're exploiting somebody and not caring does make you a bad person. Men will use this line all the time. When you call them and say, oh, what am I, just the worst husband in the world? Maybe not in the world, but you suck. Do not buy this from these men. It is complete manipulation, and they call us the manipulative ones. Okay. Never any change on his part. They've been together 30 years, y'all. Can you imagine 30 years of someone just refusing to change? Look at this. I work, do all the parenting and nearly all the chores. Oh, he mows the lawn, of course, because that's fun. He just gets to ride on something around for like an hour. So now it's been 30 years. Honey, you should have left him a long time ago. I'm sorry, but this man doesn't love you. This is not love. You cannot love someone you are actively exploiting. If she never called on him on any of this, it'd be different, but she did. And he refused. This isn't love. And I just want to spend my remaining time taking care of myself. The kids are all gone, and so the impact is not the same. But here's the hitch. My husband now has brain cancer. While he's doing remarkably well now and it's slow growing, it's incurable. He will have more surgeries, treatments, and disability in his future. No part of my moral code can leave him to handle this alone. So how do I accept my physical life will not be my own, but still get a full emotional life? I don't want to be bitter and resentful in my head. How do I find freedom in servitude? You can't. Nobody is making her stay. This is her problem. I'm going to expand on that in a minute. How do I find joy despite not having time to cultivate it? Honey, you are screwed. The thing that sucks in these situations is that if she chose to leave, which I think she should, she will be judged harshly, and she may lose all or most of her friends. Hopefully not her girlfriends who understand this situation. So she faces an impossible choice, but this is life and death. And she has put up with this for 30 years. This man presented himself as a liberal man, and as soon as they got married, became her boss, captor. I'm sure he coerced her into schmegs too. Like this man, but I want you to look at, before I get into like the why you really need to face the social consequences and even your own guilt and leave. Let me show you what the response to that was. Again, I think I'm going to have my own advice column soon where people can write in or something, because I feel like, and I know it's because they, right. I mean, I've written for the Washington Post. I could never be in a columnist there because I'd be like, mark that, leave them. I'm too straightforward and too unrefined. So I know that they have to be like, maybe a little toned down. She is just look at this. So basically, in short, she's like, you simply have to make the time to cultivate joy. Okay, fine. How are you joyful in a situation that you could leave? It is not like she's in a literal prison. She could leave, but her moral compass or whatever won't let her. Please, y'all. So I think this woman gives her husband way too much credit here. She keeps saying you should address this, la 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 la. I'm not even gonna read it because this man is not going to care. I'm sorry, I'm just telling you right now, this man's not gonna listen. He's not gonna care. She did say, I urge you to challenge the narrative for yourself. Is there really nothing he can do more of? But the thing is that he's not going to. The only way this man is going to do literally anything is if she says, I am leaving you. And then he will do just enough to get her to not leave. But you know how hard it is to live with someone and be married to someone who literally chose not to make your life easier on any level until he literally had no choice because he doesn't want to die alone. I could not live with that. I could not live with this 30-year history. And then because he has brain cancer and doesn't have a nurse, a hospice wife, he can just exploit. Then he's like, whoa, wait. Okay, I'll cook. I would hate him for taking brain cancer for him to be willing to love me. She even suggests that y'all read Fair Play. He ain't gonna read that book. He's not going to read that book. Some men will read that book, have read that book, and have changed everything because of that book. But this man, you cannot convince me this man's gonna read that book. She's like, maybe if he says, you can tell him, I feel. No, she's already tried that. Maybe there's stuff he can do in the days he's well. No, he won't, because the core problem is he doesn't love her. And her solution is basically do your best and accept your fate, more or less. I want y'all to look at this statistic right here. This is the high end. I want you to read these statistics and these. You are 33% more likely to get a chronic disease and die within 4 years by being a caregiver. Are you willing to die to look like a good wife? No man is worth dying over, especially since men are 6 times more likely to leave us if the tables were turned.